sheeple, lazy and evil. For years I've watched y'all allow Donald Trump turn you to crazy people. Where's that freedom eagle when you must need him?
Ladies and gentlemen, cats and kittens, it is your host, MagMongoSlade. Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Today we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite from January the 19th, 2022. So, this show was, brother. I will say this though. This show had the greatest booking decision Tony Khan ever made on it. It also has some of the worst booking decisions Tony Khan ever made on it. It also had really good promos on it. It also had a really bad promo on it. It had bulletproof midgets, which is always going to be the case when it comes to AEW. And it had so much more. We have so much to cover. So why am I wasting your time trying to give you a recap? Let's just get right into it. It was announced earlier in the day that our boy Jon Moxley will be making his triumphant return to AEW on this show. And they let him open this show. He got a pretty good reaction coming out. Let's talk about my thoughts first, and then we'll talk about his promo. First thing I noticed is how much weight he lost. I looked at his face and his neck, and I could just tell like he lost a lot of weight. That was good. That was a good sign for me. I was like, all right, cool. He's less bulky than he was before. The jacket seemed a little big on him, but the swagger was still the same. The vocals were still the same. The energy, everything was still the same. So I was like, all right. My feelings on Jon Moxley is I was always a fan of Dean Ambrose. I never thought that he was as great as everybody tried to sell him as, but I was a fan, you know. And in AEW, I felt like he needed this break. He needed this time off because he was getting a little stale. You know, he was running around with Eddie Kingston. He was very, very lost, especially after his main event run. He was lost in the shuffle. But now he seems to come back reinvigorated, ready to go. They might have some real shit planned for him, hopefully. But here's the promo. So, for starters, he dropped the F-bomb immediately. Some fan had said something that pissed him off. We didn't get to hear what it was. Maybe he'll divulge one day what it was. Maybe there were fans that were there. Who knows what made Jon Moxley curse on television, but whatever. That was one thing. All right, so he told the story of being in like a dream and a black cloud following him around, telling him, laughing at him and telling him everything, all of his successes didn't belong to him, that he was never going to make it out. Then he says that he has a lot of physical scars, but everybody has their scars. Everybody has their physical scars, but everybody has their scars that other people don't see. And that those scars are who make us who we are. And he said that, you know, if you doubt him, you know, basically F off. But for his supporters, he thanked them and then said he's going to grab the business by the balls and he's going on a pilgrimage because now more than ever he is truly free and he's thirsty, but now the only thing he drinks is blood. I think that this was a good promo. You know, some people were like, it's one of the greatest promos ever. I was like, it was good. You know, it set the stage. It was a rebirth of the character of the persona. I felt like he just kind of came back to the same spot he was in, though. Later in the show, he got challenged by Ethan Page, but we don't need to talk about that because who gives a fuck about Ethan Page? But talking about Jon Moxley, I think that this was a good promo. I'm glad that he's healthy, but I just got to be honest, man. The in-ring therapy sessions that AEW loves to give these guys, I'm not sure what's up with that. These in-ring therapy sessions, man. CM Punk had one. I think Hangman Page had one. Cody has them literally all the time. You know, it's like, I don't know. You know, like sometimes it's okay because you kind of are connecting with the crowd on an emotional level, so that's kind of a good. But at the same time, it's not necessary. Like, I don't remember ever in history, like, when did this generation start where we have to come in and talk about our feelings and everything that we've gone through and all of our life history and how, all these horrible things that we've done. It's like, it's cool, but save some shit for the shoot interviews. Like all the stuff that these guys are talking about in front of the camera is like all nice and cute and cuddly and inspiring. It's so inspiring. I'm like, okay, I guess if that was the goal, was to inspire, all right. But at the same time, I am a little over all of the therapy sessions in the ring. I'm kind of over it, All right, but I did love the promo. I thought it was good. They didn't shoot an angle, which, it is what it is. There's a new age of wrestling where we let guys talk unmolested for several minutes at a time. It's in WWE, it's in AEW. If you're going to, guys having, Saturday Night Live monologues, I don't get it. I don't know. It started in the Attitude Era. That's when it started. I know even back in the day, a guy would cut a promo, it wouldn't be this long, but it is what it is. I still like the promo though, because I felt like it was real. It came from the heart, and it was showing the fans that were still there, who were kind of on the fence about how he would be if he returned, that he still got it. We shall see on Friday though if he still got it in the ring. Hopefully he's actually better with the weight loss and everything. All right, so let's move on to the actual show now. The show actually begins after Moxley leaves the ring, because Moxley didn't shoot an angle. He just went in there and had a Mr. Robot therapy session. Anyway, MJF said that last week was an abomination, that Punk pulled the hair in the tights, and if Wardlow had a little bit more seasoning, maybe he could have countered that. But then he said he had to apologize to Wardlow because Wardlow's been nothing but a model employee, but he still docked his pay because he put his hands on him. But said that he still believes in Wardlow, and if Wardlow can get him that TNT title, that money will come right back. So they did another scene where Wardlow can sell the MJF's BS with his face. Where MJF hit him with the, got to dock your pay, and Wardlow got to sell that. And we got to, do a little bit more acting with Wardlow. I like it, He's not talking. They're letting his body language do the talking. That's very good. That's very good. I don't have a problem with this. I don't even have anything negative to say about this. MJF docking his pay was a good heel move, especially after the very seemingly heartfelt apology, which I was kind of like, all right, where's the hook in this? And then the hook came when he docked his pay. So I was like, all right, that was good. That was very good. All right. So when we get to the first match, was the mixed tag match, Adam Cole and Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy. This match was absolutely abysmal. It was boring. And Adam Cole, man, a lot of people are starting to really kind of look. Adam Cole has lost the swag that he had with Undisputed Era, the swag and the confidence that he seems to have had with in NXT. I'm not seeing it. I see the guy. He got the same face. He got the same, I don't know if he got the same body. I think he actually stopped working out. He might just be chilling now. That money's guaranteed, baby. And Tony Khan doesn't seem to, have put his foot down and make guys work out or anything like that. So he seems to just be chilling. But the swag that he had, how he carried himself, I'm not seeing the same Adam Cole I saw in NXT. I'm not seeing that same Adam Cole in AEW. And to be quite honest, this is almost similar to the same situation we had with John Moxley and Andrade and Miro when they jumped ship over from WWE to AEW. WWE is the machine. It's the grindhouse, dog. They're constantly on your ass about how you look. They're constantly on your ass about how you present yourself, about your promos and everything. And then you go over to AEW, it's a lot more lax. So then you start seeing guys do weird shit like Miro coloring his hair blonde. I've seen the new pictures of Miro. He looks fantastic. Like, he seems to take his body a lot more seriously now. I appreciate that. But now we got Adam Cole, who's the fresh new guy, and he's just kind of like, fuck it. All I gotta do is show up and do baby, and everybody's gonna be like, Adam Cole, I love him, man. He's great, bro. But meanwhile, as the performances go on, we're seeing less and less Adam Cole energy. What we came to really appreciate in NXT, we're seeing less and less of that as we go along. And I don't appreciate it, to be quite honest. We got a lot of Orange Cassidy in this match. Of course, Orange Cassidy absolutely botched an outside super kick spot, which Adam Cole not only threw the kick anyway, but slapped his thigh. So there we go. There was 2 Canadian destroyers in this match. Britt Baker did a Canadian destroyer on the ramp outside the ring. Of course, Adam Cole did one because his setup move is a Canadian destroyer. Jesus H. Christ. Then they went and got a table spot. Britt Baker was hoisted upon her own petard. She was knocked off the ring apron by Orange Cassidy through a table. Adam Cole got to sell angry face, though not as realistic as I thought it would be. And his finisher is still a knee to the back of the head. He hit him in the nuts. He's down. Running knee to the head, lowered the boom. 1, 2, 3. Britt Baker and Adam Cole win. I was bored. This match was boring as far as I'm concerned. I know some people really like Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander. I don't care about them. This has been an incredibly one-sided feud, and which, it is what it is because Adam Cole shouldn't be losing. At the same time, we're now going to continue the feud because later Adam Cole basically says that Orange Cassidy crossed the line by putting his hands on Britt Baker, and now he's going to make him suffer. He's going to destroy him. So he challenged Orange Cassidy to a lights out match next week at Beach Break on TBS. Okie dokie. All right. So I'm guessing the lights out match is non-sanctioned. That being said, knowing that the match is non-sanctioned, Orange Cassidy is going to win. Which means Orange Cassidy will have lost every match in the feud except one. And then the one match that he does lose, he does win, won't count. And of course, it's another gig match. So we're just going to go out there and they want to just start the match cutting each other in the head. Just go ahead and do it. That's really the only point in this. I don't see they did a good job of maintaining the heat, I guess, because Adam Cole now just can't take the win. Now it's got to be, I got to punish you for what you did to my girlfriend. Okay, I guess. But it's like, how did we get here anyway? Like, we've been here for a long time with this Orange Cassidy, Adam Cole thing. I feel like we've just been doing this for months and months on end. And I'm not sure. Adam Cole losing the lights out match to end the feud seems to make much sense to me. So I'm guessing Adam Cole kind of has to win. But if it's non-sanctioned, look, if Adam Cole is going to win, he's won every match in the feud anyway. If he's going to lose, then what the hell was the point in him winning all the other matches if he's going to lose the last match in the feud? It just wouldn't make any sense. But I guess we'll have to see. Because I'm just assuming that the match is unsanctioned without knowing for sure. Let's move on. The Inner Circle is out there. Chris Jericho says that Eddie Kingston, GFY, go F yourself. Everybody's jumping all over him for that. He's got a GFY shirt, by the way, which is why he keeps saying it, of course. Says he doesn't care about Eddie Kingston. He's focused on 2.0. Santana and Ortiz said that, they are focused on Eddie Kingston. They do care about him. And that he needs to watch out how he talks about Eddie Kingston. And maybe Eddie Kingston is right. They've been fighting Chris Jericho's battles. When has he ever stood up for them? When has he truly had their back? And Jericho's like, look, I've always had you guys' back. I've always tried to take care of you guys. And Santana and Ortiz wouldn't buy it. They were like, next week might be the last time we have your back. Let's see if you have ours. And I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. they've teased the breaking up of the inner circle several times. Now Sammy is kind of established enough on his own that he doesn't really need to be in the inner circle anymore. Jake Hager apparently is either dead or fired. Either way, he's not around. Jericho is floating. I'm guessing he's going to start feuding with Eddie Kingston. And now Santana and Ortiz have their eyes on finally becoming a tag team with some success in AEW. Could be interesting. Eddie Kingston being able to break this team up so easily, though, kind of weird, But I don't know. It just seems like Eddie Kingston is going to get put with the Hispanic guys. There's Hispanic guys around, therefore Eddie Kingston needs to be partners with them. I don't know. But Eddie Kingston actually got hurt. So I don't know how long he's going to be out. Somebody said he's going to be out several weeks, but they're continuing the storyline without him. So he's probably not going to be out that long. So get well soon to Eddie Kingston. Hopefully everything is all right. He's supposed to still be wrestling at GFW, their Hammerstein Ballroom show. So I don't know if he's still going to be there or not. But he said he was training to get in shape because he wants to be the world champion. I thought that was cute. But it's a legitimate thing. He's a guy who's over. He's a little bit more over than Hangman. Definitely more believable than Hangman. Why not make Eddie Kingston the champion if he fights hard enough to get into world champion shape? The only issue you would have is his age. But I think that the AEW fan base wouldn't care. I think they would be far more interested in Eddie Kingston as champion. And I think Eddie Kingston as champion cutting promos could be far more interesting. It'd be a great story too. The only question is I will question is how long could it last? And does he do it as a babyface or a heel? I think obviously he has to do it as a babyface, right? It's an interesting thing to toss around. Let's just say. I'm not saying it's actually going to happen. I'm just saying it's an interesting thing to toss around. All right, CM Punk versus Shawn Spears. CM Punk cuts a promo apparently after his match with Wardlow where he says MJF is running out of bodies. He's running out of places to hide, and eventually he is going to find himself in the one place he doesn't want, which is in the ring with CM Punk. MJF goes on commentary as Punk and Spears are in the ring. Punk's pop was noticeably not fantastic this week. It was noticeably kind of lame. And this was the best booking decision Tony Khan ever made. The first time they made contact, CM Punk picked him up, hit him with the GTS, and pinned him immediately. This was great. 5 fucking stars. All right? 5 goddamn stars. The greatest match of all time. Shawn Spears, to be quite honest, he didn't even do the job the way I wanted him to, but I'm just glad it was over. I'm just, ooh, baby. Quick and dirty. That's how I love it. Get that guy the fuck out of here. Anyway, MJF ran to the ring, tried to attack CM Punk from behind. CM Punk caught him, grabbed him by his scarf. It seemed like he was going to hit him. He kind of did the little pause to let the crowd react. And then MJF scampered out of the ring and ran away. All right, I didn't mind this. I didn't mind any of this. They did very little with the Punk MJF segment. So this was all that we got for this show. And I felt like it was enough. Now MJF doesn't have any more goons. Unless he's going to bring out the 2 members of FTR. And maybe that's another 2 weeks. He can wrestle Dax 1 week and Cash the next. And would that get us to the pay-per-view? I'm not sure. Would that get us to the pay-per-view? I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think he still end up, CM Punk versus each member of FTR. It's probably the best we can do as far as kind of holding in place. And it actually continues the storyline is that, MJF now has the power to throw people in CM Punk's way. So why not FTR? Or maybe Punk has to team up with somebody else to wrestle FTR. But I know he's beaten FTR already, hasn't he? Like he beat them with Sting and Darby, right? You know, it was that whole thing. But I don't think he's beat them singles. So let's try that. All right, so Billy Gunn commandeered a cameraman because he wanted to go and talk to Christian. He went and talked to Christian. He said his boys are in the top 5, want a tag team title shot. Christian said, "Oh, hey, you know, your guys are good. They're great athletes, but you know, they're not exactly winning the big ones. Maybe you guys ought to make an impact first, and then come and challenge us for the titles." This led to the Gun Club, Billy and his boys, his spawn. They whooped Christian's ass. They threw him up against the metal grate. They just really stomped a mud hole in him. Statement made, apparently. What the funniest thing about all of this is JR afterwards was saying that just about anybody has the power to make title matches around here. He buried the whole thing. Like, Christian can't make title matches, but apparently he can. But at the end of the day, though, I don't think this was a bad angle. It kind of started several weeks ago with Billy Gunn saying that his team was undefeated, and now, you know, even though they did lose since then, but they're still in shooting range of the titles. So they kind of decided, hey, you know, why wait in line? Why wait our turn? Let's just go get the titles now. So, you know, that's fine. I don't. Even though, you know, these old guys doing their thing, I didn't mind it. You know, if Tony Khan is smart, though, he probably would avoid booking Christian versus Billy Gunn on television. Avoid that. I don't think they've ever had a match, though. Nerds, have Christian and Billy Gunn ever had a singles match against each other? I don't know. If they did, I would guess it would probably been in TNA. If it was, I'm probably sure it would have been in TNA. All right, so now we got Tan Suit Codes. Our boy Cody is back. He's back, baby. During commercial, he went and got a ladder, put it in the ring. I mean, pretty obvious, right? Everybody knew when the interim championship was created that he was going to do Cody 2 belts, or and they was going to have a ladder match. Obviously, Cody was gone literally 7 days, or like 8 days, or something like that. They had an interim title, like he's going to be gone for 6 months or something. So then Cody comes out here and he cuts the most mixed match patch quilt promo that had like 3 or 4 different ideas in it. Like, you have to take this promo apart in stages. Right, so let's talk about the first stage of the Cody promo. The first stage of the Cody promo, he's talking about CM Punk. And he's talking about CM Punk is the one who created the revolution with his pipe bomb promo in WWE. And it says that he was mentioning things like working with Ring of Honor and the Young Bucks, yada, yada, yada. Things that were taboo for a guy like him. And that was his first whiff of revolution. And he says that, you know, things have happened in the meantime, and CM Punk never did any of the stuff he said he was going to do in the pipe bomb promo. But guess who did? Cody did it. You know, Cody did it all. Cody did it all. Then he starts talking about how he was the one who built the Forbidden Door. There's a lot of people talking about Forbidden Door. I built it. I was the guy who jumped ship and went to New Japan, jumped ship and went to Ring of Honor and did all that kind of stuff. It was me. It was Cody all along. It was Cody. It was Cody all along. And he said, then he says that's why he will never turn heel, because the fans cheered him when he needed it the most, which is when he left WWE, apparently. He's the one who was carrying the anti-monopoly sentiment everywhere that he went. It was him. It was Cody all along. Cody Christ. He sacrificed himself for us, for our sins. All hail Cody. All hail Cody. Jesus Christ. The blood of Cody. The wafer. The flesh of Cody. Jesus. The passion of Cody. This is so bizarre. That was the first stanza of this whole thing, is that CM Punk started the revolution. Cody picked up the torch and carried it on. Then he said, I was gone for 2 weeks, and the Young Bucks tried to start the Wednesday Night War all over again. He says that I see them calling out Red Dragon, and I'm sure Red Dragon passed hip toss class with flying colors, but I have no interest in seeing them beat developmental guys again. Then he says that, he was gone for 2 weeks, and there's a new guy named Brody. He said, you have the nerve to come to AEW with the name Brody? He said, we don't read name guys here. And he made a joke about Gunnar McGillicuddy or whatever. That was the second stanza of this promo. The part of the promo we didn't need. Right? This second part, chuck that shit out the window. We didn't need that. Right? This was completely unnecessary. We didn't need this. This sucked. This can go away. That was the third part. The third part is Cody saying, you have been conditioned for 20 years that if it doesn't have world in it, it's a secondary belt. In AEW, we don't have secondary belts. There's 2 titles, 1 champion, and Tony Khan sent me a contract. Not exactly the contract that I wanted. But he sent me a contract, and he says that Sammy Guevara, ladder match, threw the challenge out there. That's the part of the promo that we kind of needed, right? That's the important part of the promo. That's the part that he should have come out there and discussed, maybe even first. Maybe should have been the only thing he talked about. We kind of didn't need the rest of that shit, did we? Did we really need him talking about how he was the face of the revolution and he picked up the torch that CM Punk started? Did we really need all that? No. We certainly didn't need all the, we don't rename guys here, all that shit. We didn't need all that either. Cody needs an editor. He needs somebody to tell him, Cody, you got too many ideas in here. Get some of this shit out of here. Shorten this, please. Because when you go through it all together, the beginning and the end have nothing to do with each other. It meanders. And then he was tossing in little stuff here and there as he went along. As the crowd was booing him at first, telling him to shut the fuck up. By the end of his first stanza, when he starts talking about how he was the forbidden door, the crowd is cheering him, Cody, Cody. Because they're like, oh yeah, you're right. It was you. You did, kind of help with the whole forbidden door thing. Even though he didn't, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. As if other guys never left WWE before and went other places. Like guys like Jeff Hardy didn't do it long before him. And guys like Rob Van Dam didn't do it long before him. Guys like Raven. Guys have jumped. I think even Jericho was the one who really kind of shattered everything. Yeah, Cody was already on the independents at that point. And jumping back and forth from New Japan and Ring of Honor and stuff like that. But it was really Jericho going to Japan that made everything these guys are talking about possible. It was Jericho going to Japan. So Cody trying to take credit for this, kind of silly. Right? Because the only reason that AEW even started, and this is what Tony Khan even said, if it wasn't for Jericho going to Japan, AEW probably wouldn't even exist. So while Cody should get some credit for being a WWE trained guy who left the company and did his own thing, set up his own relationships outside of WWE, the Ring of Honor thing, the NWA thing, sure, great, awesome. He should get credit for that. But the Forbidden Door, if you want to even call it that, it's not really even a thing. But if you even want to say that, it was kind of Jericho going to Japan. Because that's when everybody started like, whoa. That was big. Other guys have left WWE and gone. Brock Lesnar did it. Brock Lesnar went to Japan. It wasn't a big splash, though. It was a thing. It mattered. China going to Japan, it mattered. Jeff Hardy or RVD going to TNA, that stuff mattered. But Jericho going to Japan was huge. That was that actively increased business in New Japan. Actively drew money. Was probably one of the biggest things they've done in that decade. Just him showing up. All right, so I don't know if I want to give Cody too much credit. Even though I don't like the WWE dig, because I think they're kind of stupid, because AEW does this stuff all the time. Him mentioning it in the context of AEW having another guy named Brody made sense. Because that's what WWE does. It makes people change names because we've already got people with those names. You know, you have Doudrop. Viper Niven was her name when she was on the Independents. She's not going to come to WWE and be Viper. The Viper is Randy Orton. So they changed her name to Piper Niven, Piper, in NXT UK. She gets called up to the main roster. They look and say, oh shit, Roddy Piper, Rowdy Piper. We're not going to. No, we already got a Piper. She has to change her name again. That's how he ends up with Doudrop. Right? So, you've got this stuff going on. So it makes sense. But just like you got an Ethan Page and an Adam Page and a Christian Cage and a Brian Cage. You know, maybe they should start changing people's names. Now they got 2 Cages, 2 Brodies, 2 Pages. But within this context, it made sense. But he could have made this comment somewhere else. We didn't need that right here. It was useless, time wasting shit. We didn't need this right here. All right. So Cody's promo meandered. It as a cohesive promo, it was shit. If you break it up into pieces, you could have cut different pieces at different times, and it probably would have had different levels of effectiveness. You know, he tried to do the whole naming thing because it's hot, kind of like talking about current events due to, you know, the name change just the previous day. Makes sense, you know, but he could have done that in an interview or something like that. He didn't need to do that on TV. You know, the promo about CM Punk not carrying the torch to the fullest extent, he could have saved that for his feud with CM Punk whenever that's going to happen. He could have just saved that. He said that. All right, so people told me to save this promo, but I'm going to say it here. Again, giving away that he'd been writing these shits and keeping them in his desk drawer or something like that. Which I don't care about. I don't care that he writes his own promos. I don't care that he performs his own promos. Hell, I'll tell you, first fucking rule of public speaking is practicing the shit that you're going to say. I mean, why would you go out there and just wing it? I know that's what people see, like, oh, all these territory guys, they just go out there and wing it. It's like, that shit's unprofessional, bro. That when you cutting a 90, 30-second promo full of generic, I'm going to beat you when I see you at the Farmlands Arena, I'm going to kick your ass. I mean, when you doing that kind of shit, you can do that half drunk, high on coke, and it won't matter. These dudes are trying to really convey ideas these days. And as they're trying to really convey ideas, complex ideas, and tell stories, and do what they're trying to do, especially what Cody was trained to do in the WWE system, you need to write your ideas out. You know, you need to organize your shit. So I don't begrudge Cody for writing promos down. That's not a problem. You know, the issue I had is that this promo made no fucking sense. The ending and the beginning made no fucking sense. It wasn't one cohesive idea. It was 3 jumbled ideas. All right, whatever. Enough about Cody. Jade Cargill supposedly issued an open challenge, which was accepted by Anna Jay of the Dark Order, who is number 2 of the women's division. Anna Jay reminded Jade Cargill that she has a dark side. I have a dark side to me. I wrapped barbed wire around my arm just to win a match. I was just kind of like, Not with that voice. I don't believe you have a dark side. I believe that the barbed wire was bullshit. Apparently that match will be happening on Rampage. Who cares? Next match, Varsity Blondes versus the Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King. So Brian Pillman Jr. was about to do a springboard thing, but he remembered the previous week when he slipped and fell and got frustrated, and they told the story of him just kind of giving up on it. And he gets down and he's like mentally rattled that he couldn't do the springboard last week, and Brody King almost dared him to do it again this week. So Griff Garrison goes out there to try to talk to him, talk some sense into him. I don't remember whether it was Malachi or Brody that kind of snuck up behind them. Griff Garrison throws Pillman out of the way, shoves him out of the way. He gets, hockey checked. Griff Garrison's face absolutely on that goddamn steel steps. He never got back up. Now, either he's really good at selling, or his face made love to them steel steps. Now, I'm not sure. I ain't sure. So I'm not going to say for sure that it happened. All I'm saying is I never saw him again. So, I mean, it is what it is. Not that I give a shit about Griff Garrison anyway, but seems kind of careless for his face to hit the corner of those steps that hard. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully I would rather be wrong than him be hurt. Let's put it like that. So hopefully he's all right. Malachi Black grabs the microphone and he's telling everybody, please rise for Kings of the Black Throne. Please rise. Like Jeb Bush. Please clap. Please clap, okay? Then a vignette plays. Vignettes play. I'm like, okay. And Pac appears. Says that Malachi is like everybody else in AEW. He's power hungry and self-obsessed. And said that this is the part where you expect me to kneel and call you master. But no. The bastard is incorruptible. And that he's going to make a martyr of Malachi Black. And Malachi Black sold it, like visually looking around and getting kind of paranoid and everything. And I was like, okay, all right. I didn't hate this. I thought this was all right. They did kind of tease that Pac was blind. And then at the end, he took the blindfold down so he can see. Because how else is he going to wrestle? Unless they're going to do a Ricky Steen. Out of all the callbacks that they like to do, are they going to do Jake Roberts and Rick Martel? No. So apparently, Pac can see. All right, cool. Pac versus Malachi Black could be fun. I'm guessing the Death Triangle is going to get back together. So it's probably going to be Pac and Penta that's going to end up fighting Kings of the Black Throne. And that could be fine. My issue here is this what Malachi Black came to AEW for? That's my question. Did he come to be on a tag team? Because I'm not sure this is the right thing for him to do. Like, I said it on Twitter and I thought it was funny. I'm going to say it again because I thought it was funny. That Brody King is the Wario to Malachi Black's Mario. Every time I see him, so weird, man. These dudes look so much alike. It's almost as if they were, created in a lab to look the same. It's insane. Okay. I'm not thrilled about this tag team stuff, though. I'm almost certain he didn't come here to work tag team matches. And apparently there's no main event spots open for Malachi Black, so he has to do tag team stuff. At least he's involved. I'll say that. Let's just say he's involved. He hasn't completely forgotten. So, not completely. He's just on the back burner right now. But he's still doing something. I don't like what he's doing. But he's doing something. It is what it is. All right, so Lance Archer now has two managers, which still makes him twice as boring as he was before. They had a vignette between Lance Archer and Hangman Page where basically the long and short of it is Jake Roberts says Lance Archer ain't waiting in line. He ain't waiting in line. And his path of destruction started tonight as he wrestled Frankie Kazarian. Lance Archer versus Frankie Kazarian? I was like, who went and got their flashlight or torch, went into the deepest, darkest cave, found the Lazarus pit, reached in and pulled Frankie Kazarian out? I haven't seen that motherfucker in at least 3 months. I haven't seen this motherfucker since he popped up on Impact that one time. Or maybe the second time he showed up on Impact. Frankie Kazarian has been under contract for a long time. And I have not seen him in literally forever. And I was like, wow. I didn't even hate it. I was just kind of like, I'm surprised he's still alive. I'm like, damn, where did they find this guy? Was he like in one of those Zelda trunks where like somebody had to kick it and pop it open and he was in there? He was on a milk carton for weeks. He was gone so long I didn't even think about him anymore. God damn. But this match was atrocious. This match was absolutely atrocious. For starters, it was all Lance Archer. I don't think Frankie Kazarian got too much in the way of offense anyway. But this match killed the crowd. The crowd was pretty much already dead, if we're being honest. They were kind of like, it's hard to pinpoint when they actually died because the Kings of the Black Throne got a pretty good response for their entrance and music and everything because it was the first time people had ever seen them. But I don't think the crowd was really into what they were doing. And the crowd was not at all into Kazarian and Archer. They were out. They were done. This whole thing was an absolute abortion. This was awful. Then, after Archer wins, because of course he does, Lambert starts to cut a promo who starts talking about how Hangman Page is from a different generation, not from a real generation, who played outside and went to see Rocky and came back and told Dad you wanted to be a boxer. Not from that generation. He's from the generation that sat in the house and played video games. And I was like, okay, sure. Then Archer said enough of this cowboy bullshit. He's going to show us something or other. He decided he's going to beat up on Cass some more. As he took him outside in the ring, Hangman Page come out there and made the save. They scuffle a little bit. Hangman Page ended up winning the fight. Dan Lambert and Jake Roberts held Lance Archer back so the Hangman can stand strong in the middle of the ring. Okay. Probably not the best thing to make Lance Archer look like a credible opponent for him to get, punched around by the champion. At the same time, if he would have laid out Adam Page would have continued to look like a chump, and he already looks like a chump. So this is a situation where nobody really wins. The crowd really likes Adam Page because they kind of see that people are turning on him. I think that there's a lot of the AEW crowd is very connected to the internet and very connected to what other people are thinking, and that's why to double back to that, they were chanting Royal Rumble at Cody, kind of really plugged in, and they know that there's some people out there who are really kind of looking at Adam Page and got him under a microscope. This guy has never won a singles title, and all of a sudden he's a world champion. And it's all because, we promised you the world title when we started the company. That's the only reason you're the world champion. Not because you really earned it, not because you're that level of talent. And so now they're trying to make up for it by cheering really, really loudly for him. By saying, yeah, I love Adam Page. It's like, it still feels weak. It still feels, phony. This guy he's involved with a guy who was in the fourth match on the show. He's involved with a guy he was not mentioned or seen until almost 2/3 of the show was over, But I don't know. I guess they did the right thing ultimately in letting Kazarian win the exchange. What else are you gonna do? You gonna beat him up? You gonna beat up the champion? You could if you wanted to make Lance Archer look strong, but he's a mid card guy too, so But bulletproof midgets. It is what it is. Bulletproof midgets, the promotion, by the way. Doesn't matter. So we got a 6-man tag that's brewing, or a tag team match that's brewing. Matt Sydal, Leo Moriarty, and Dante Martin. They cut a promo, and Dante Martin said that Matt Sydal has been like a brother to him ever since his real brother went down. And Lee Moriarty said that, hey, you had our back, we're going to have yours. Then Starks says that, you had a little brother complex. You think everybody's your friend. And Hobbs says that you need to watch your front, back, side to side. I caught that UGK reference. And that Team Taz are assassins. I didn't care about this. The only thing I wrote down as far as notes are concerned is where the fuck is Jay Lethal? Wasn't Jay Lethal involved with this? Didn't Jay Lethal save Dante Martin on TV? Didn't Jay Lethal challenge Ricky Starks to a match? Why are we not following up on that? Where is Jay Lethal? Where did he go? Did he evaporate? Did he get tossed into the negative zone? Is he webbed up, hanging over the Brooklyn Bridge or something like Doctor Strange? Where the fuck is this guy? Where is this guy? Where did he go? Where did he go? Somebody, please explain to me. Is he dead? Does he have a pulse? Did you call his house to make sure he's still there? Did his kid have a recital or something? Where is he? Where did he go? Where did he go? Layla Hirsch, she was mad at Chris Statlander, even though Chris Statlander lost tonight. Chris Statlander had some fire. She had some focus. And Layla Hirsch was like, look, if you'd had that kind of focus, we wouldn't have lost on Friday. And then, she said, you cost me thousands of dollars. It cost Red Velvet thousands of dollars. Red Velvet apparently doesn't care about thousands of dollars. She cared about her friendship. And Layla Hirsch was like, fuck that. I care about money, and beat them both up. I was like, you know what? Nah, I like that. Okay, cool. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about something. Let's double back. Amanda Nunes left American Top Team. Why didn't nobody mention that on this TV show? Dan Lambert is literally right there. You know? If it was WWE or some shit like that, they'd have brought it up. You know? But when it comes to Dan Lambert, we're not going to talk about Amanda Nunes going off and starting her own gym and not wanting to work with this bum ass dude anymore. She was just hanging out with him on TV too, wasn't she, a couple of months ago? So it's not like it's completely out of kayfabe. She was on TV with him. But I can understand why they didn't do it. I can understand that. All right, so the fifth match, Sky Blue, who looks like she should be in NXT, versus Serena Deeb. And it's another virtual squash match where Deeb just absolutely tortured Sky Blue and destroyed her knee with the single leg crab and stomped the legs into the mat. Really vicious stuff. Not too mad about this. Not too mad about this at all. Sky Blue, she'll have other days. There's always going to be dark or something like that for her to work. Just this is to get over Serena Deeb, who needs it, to be quite honest. She needs to get put over. Sammy Guevara's poolside, shirtless with the TNT title. We're not going to say anything more about it. Just, if you saw my previous video, when I talked about Mandy Rose, I guess you could try to Google and try to see if anybody complained that Sammy Guevara was poolside and not in the ring to argue with Cody. But you're not going to find that. All right, so Matt Hardy and Andrade, look at me, I'm Andrade El Idolo. All right, so their business deal has now been fully fleshed out. It's well thought out. It's bulletproof. Great plan that they got here. Matt Hardy is going to sell 51% of the Hardy family office to Andrade, thus creating the mega corporation known as the AHFO. Matt Hardy will remain CEO and will have voting shares. Somehow, some way, Private Party will have voting shares. And so will other people have voting shares of the company. And Andrade is going to be the new president. He's going to be the El Presidente. And he's still going to be in charge of recruiting new talent. And Andrade wants to... He wants to recruit the little boy who works for the Sting. The little boy who works for Sting. This is so dumb. Look, is this what Andrade came to AEW for? To be in business with Matt Hardy? Did Matt Hardy talk to Rebby before he sold 51% of his company to Andrade? Before he got in league with the Mexican mafia, you know, uh, did he just? This is so bad. This is so bad, bro. Oh, Andrade is going to be hanging out with the Jobber Squad. Why? Oh my goodness. He's going to be hanging out with the Job Squad. Private Party and all those guys are the absolute scum of the business. You know, look, they might be guys with potential, but that potential is not being built upon. You know, they're basically just comedy job guys, and they don't even show that much in the way of personality anymore. Is the Hybrid 2 still there? Is Angelico and Jack Evans still around, or have they been quietly released yet? Because I noticed that there's been a lot of quiet releases as far as AEW is concerned. I think Peter Avalon is gone, and Joey Janela, his contract is coming up, and they're not talking about renewing it. You know, I heard that Jack Evans and Angelico, their contracts were coming up too. Maybe it's already up and they're already gone. I think Jack Evans is in jail, isn't he? Maybe he's in jail. But these people are the absolute scum of this company. These people are the lowest on the totem pole. If you're Andrade, what the hell do you want with Private Party and the Hybrid 2? Why would you hang out with them? I know Jack Evans hangs out in Mexico, but is that it? Like, he's the weed man? Or at least the kid you could send to get the weed. He's the porter. What good are these people for? What are they good for? What are their roles? Why is Matt Hardy the CEO? He has less shares of the company than Andrade, but has a better job. I've never heard of that before in my life. Somebody needs to talk. What next? Is Leo Rush gonna start coming in here trying to leverage their buyouts or whatever the fuck? He's gonna come in there and negotiate their pension fund? What is going on here? Why are they doing this? I noticed that Leo Rush ain't been on this TV show since he called out Tony Khan on that Twitter account. He ain't been back since. I noticed. Just fire the guy, man. Just fucking fire him. He apologized and he backed off of it, but he ain't been back since. He's another one who was involved with Dante Martin that ain't doing nothing. Dante Martin has had more mentors than Wilt Chamberlain has had bitches. All right, that dude been passed around all over the place. We're getting to the end, man. If you stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. The last thing is the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed versus Sting and Darby. So the Acclaimed had a parody video of Sting getting run over with a car. And then they did their raps where they said fighting us is like gory self-mutilation. And that they're going to make Sting look worse than Starrcade 97. And I was like, okie dokie. I'm tired of the rap shit. I don't see why the Acclaimed was in the main event. The crowd was not into this at all. They attacked Sting and Darby before the match. They took Darby's head, wrapped the chair around it, throw him into the ring post. They did the thing where WWE does, where a guy gets moved out of the match, so the other guy has to go by himself, or the match continues without him. So Sting fought the Acclaimed by himself for about a good 5 or 6 minutes before Darby made his triumphant return and wasn't selling a thing. No, he did not continue to sell the neck injury. He just continued bowling guys over and doing high-risk stuff, jumping off shit. I was like, bulletproof midgets. You just can't beat them. They're pinballs. They're not wrestlers. You know, they're stress balls. You just throw them, bounce them, and squeeze them, and do whatever you want to them. They just come right back. They just right back in shape. Bulletproof. Absolutely untouchable. Of course, Sting and Darby Allin win, as they should. And that's the end of the show. Sting and Darby Allin defeat the Acclaimed The Acclaimed once again look like jokers, completing total dweebs. And I'm not surprised because that's all they've ever looked like. But I'm also surprised that the Acclaimed got a main event spot. Is the Acclaimed the main event act? I don't think so. It was mostly about Darby and Sting. But who cares? To be quite honest, this show was fairly weak. Darby Allin's response was also pretty weak. He didn't get a monster babyface reaction when he came back. He got a pretty good reaction when he did his tackle off the tackle to one of the guys off the steps. He got a pretty good reaction for that. But other than that, it wasn't a really big reaction. Sting got more of a reaction for doing his splash off the ramp through the table, which is, it was actually pretty cool, that a guy that Sting's age, he's in his 60s, still, can do something like that, still willing to do something like that. I wouldn't suggest he keep doing it, but in special occasions, it's fine, I guess. Was this one of those special occasions? Probably not. I would have saved it for pay-per-view or something, Why? I mean, doing it on TV, AEW, their lifeblood is TV, so they probably feel like, hey, why save it? Just do it now, Especially on a team that you can, y'all guys are just going to mollywop in the Acclaimed. Just go for it. But I think AEW has the opposite problem with WWE in so much that their baby faces are too strong. AEW's baby faces are all of them are bulletproof midgets. It's impossible to fucking beat them because no matter what you do to them, they just come right back. And you can beat them like a drum 100 times, like Orange Cassidy. He just comes right back. Even if you win the match, he just comes right back. It's like, God damn. Like, how are you going to build any heat? This fucking guy won't go away. So there aren't too many heels in AEW who have any momentum, and just MJF, and that's due to the Iron Dome that's around him. And yes, that was an Israeli reference on purpose. There's an Iron Dome around MJF that won't allow anybody to pin or submit him. So he is well protected. He's pretty much the only one who's allowed to really get momentum. Like Starks doesn't lose either, but he also doesn't wrestle, doesn't cut promos, and is barely on TV. Malachi Black has lost a lot from losing one match. He lost a lot of momentum, and they've been struggling to get him back where he needs to be. For the most part, they treat their baby faces very well. It's a very babyface driven promotion, which is very odd considering that's WWE's strong suit for years and years. Has been WWE knows how to book baby faces. They really don't book heels that well. But now you have WWE as a heel promotion where all the fucking heels beat up all the fucking baby faces every goddamn week. And no babyface has any faith or belief or hype or push or momentum or anything. So AEW is really benefiting from WWE shitting all over their baby faces. And I don't like to compare the two in terms of ratings and all that kind of shit. But I can compare them in terms of storytelling. And right now, both the storytelling in both companies is shit. But at least the heroes, they don't always act like heroes in AEW. But at least they have momentum. And that's a positive thing. They're not getting beat every week. They're not being made to look stupid every week. And that's a good start. It's a good start. But this show was dreadful. They actually utilize shorter matches, which was good, and I think really good for the product. Because, but they could have used shorter matches in terms of Lance Archer and Kazarian. What could they put in that place? I don't know, and I don't care. It felt like Cody went too long. It felt like Moxley went too long, but the show felt, it just felt long at a certain point. It just felt like I can't believe this show was still on. It felt like the show was 2.5 hours, maybe 3, rather than 2. But let me know what you guys thought of the show. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.